Could your parenting approach be hurting your autistic child? I know that's a hard question to think about, but so many loving parents fall into patterns that feel right, they sound right in theory, and yet we find ourselves in really stressful situations. When we stop to think about what could be going wrong, we can't see it because it's all buried under well-meaning, loving, good intentions. So join me in taking a brave look at how so many well-meaning parents and families could be making a mistake that they don't even realize they're making. Now, today's video is part of a series on taking a look at what we might call parenting mistakes, but could also be unintended consequences. And the difference is that a mistake is something we're doing wrong that we can fix. Unintended consequences are things that happen even though we're doing everything that we think is right, just because no parenting style is perfect. And an unintended consequence is something that we have to try really hard to look at and assess so that we can see when there's potential that it might occur and take action to make it a little easier on everybody. So we'll be taking a look at the different ways that mistakes and unintended consequences can creep up so that we can reflect a little bit on our parenting and see if there's opportunities for us to improve. This way, everybody has a chance at an improved quality of life, including us as the caregivers. By the way, if you're new here, welcome to Parenting Through ASD. I'm a developmental psychologist and a very happy parent to an autistic 14-year-old boy. If you want to learn more about me, you can watch my introductory video linked below. Now let's get started with today's topic. We're going to start with reactive versus responsive parenting. One of the things that I hear very often from autism parents, and that I'm guilty of myself, is this idea that we are very flexible and responsive to our children's needs, something that I personally wear as a badge of honor. But are we actually being reactive when we think we're being responsive? Let's take a closer look. Reactive parenting is when you jump in quickly with corrections or try to do something for your child without giving them a chance to do it themselves. This usually comes from a place of stress or feeling hurried. If you think about it, how many times are you rushing to get to work or school in the morning, and instead of giving your child a chance to do something themselves when they're getting ready, you just jump in and do it. It's not uncommon for things to happen that if we take some time to think about later, we'll realize was actually a reaction and not us being responsive when it may have been needed. I can think about a lot of times when I have jumped in for my son instead of giving him a chance to respond. For instance, we'll often be shopping, and at the checkout counter, the cashier will try to make conversation with him. She'll ask something simple like, "How old are you?" And I know that he can respond if I just give him a little time, but I jump in quickly because I'm feeling insecure about holding up the line of people behind us or having the cashier wait for that response an extra 30 seconds. That's me being reactive. But reactive parenting can occur in the mundane, everyday things as well. Imagine you're getting ready in the morning, your child is putting on their jacket, and it has a zip up front. They're taking a little longer than usual to get the zipper lined up right, so you just jump in and do it, probably because you're rushing to get somewhere. That is reactive parenting. Or consider your child's brushing their teeth. Maybe they don't have full control of the toothbrush yet, or they don't do it for a full 2 minutes like they're supposed to. So you stand guard and you jump in and help them do it by holding their hand and brushing their teeth for them. That's also reactive parenting. It's okay to let a child make a mistake or do something with less than perfect results. If you think about it, reactive parenting is often about us. We don't want to see our child struggle through something. It reminds us of how hard things are and how much work we have to do to help them develop and do the everyday things that other people can do without all the support. But if we're being responsive, we accept and we're patient and we approach with curiosity. That is responsive parenting. So let's take a closer look at responsive parenting. Responsive parenting is taking that moment, giving your child a chance to respond. It requires us checking our impulses and stopping those knee-jerk reactions. It lets our children know that it's okay to try, and not get the results that we wanted. It helps them build confidence and self-efficacy. It lets them learn to trust themselves, to problem solve, and to make their way through challenges. Those are skills that our autistic kids need, regardless of their level of autism. I know, for instance, that I am most responsive during my son's meltdowns. I've had 14 years of learning to be the calm little center of the universe while he cries and screams and even at times shows a lot of aggression. But I know that I can change my voice. I can change my posture. I can let him know that I am calm and that when he's ready to be calm too, he can join me at his own speed. That said, I gave an example earlier about how I can be reactive. And that just goes to show that being consistently responsive, even if that's your goal in your parenting approach, can be really difficult and even unrealistic at times. The point of this discussion is not to say that responsive parenting is bad because it leads to reactive parenting, because that's not true. The point is to think about how even our best efforts at being the parent our child needs can have unintended consequences because parenting is complicated and difficult. So what we want to do is know that those things can happen, be prepared if those things tend to lead to something too stressful or a meltdown or a difficulty, and be patient with the fact that even though we try to do things right, we don't always get it right. It's not always our fault either. And that's okay. We're going to be able to help our child through most of the challenges that they need, and we're going to be prepared for the things that we didn't expect to happen. And we're making space to learn from our own misconceptions about parenting or those unintended consequences. Now, if you like this kind of discussion, you can follow my channel, Parenting Through ASD, on YouTube, and there will be plenty more videos in this series, along with a few other topics that could be interesting to you. You can also turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. If you'd like, you can follow me on Instagram, where I also share a lot of important information, and on my blog at parentingthroughasd.net. Thank you for stopping by today. I hope I'll see you back again real soon.